S25 Special Edition. So if you did not see the video that I put out yesterday, very interesting news. So Samsung has some major plans up their hands, and I've been critical of them in the past because if you've been a viewer of this channel, you would know that we talk openly about the iPhone 17 Air that's going to come out. It's going to be their new version, their super slim iPhone, right? It's going to kick the Plus model out and insert the iPhone 17 Air in this upcoming iPhone series, right? Now, I've been critical of Samsung, and even the Samsung CEO was very upset at his mobile division with the release of the Samsung Galaxy Buds because they look like AirPod knockoffs. And I found it hard to believe that the mobile division does not have to run it by the CEO before they release a big time product. I found that inconceivable, right? If I'm a CEO, especially at Samsung, I want to know everything that's going on. I want to know what washers and dryers we're putting out. I want to know what phones we're putting out, what earbuds we're putting out. I want to know what vacuum cleaners we're putting out. I want to know everything. And I couldn't believe that he found out when we did, essentially, that they were knockoffs. Now, they caught a lot of flack for copying Apple. Now, they're going to catch a lot of flack for copying Apple upon this news. However, interesting because Samsung is planning on releasing this S25 Slim Special Edition before the iPhone 17 Air. So technically, we don't know who had this idea first, Samsung or Apple. We don't know who actually started working on this project, Samsung or Apple, but Samsung and Apple are both planning on putting out a razor thin phone. Now, when I say razor thin, I'm talking about 4 millimeters thick. 4 millimeters thick. That is insane. Now, we all know that Apple patented this new motherboard technology where they fuse the motherboard and the CPU and the RAM all on one plane, all on one board. It's not soldered on top of the motherboard, which gives it thickness. It's all in one plane. That's how they can do it so razor thin. Apple patented their technology. Now, I'm assuming Samsung has some. I'm trying to find the specifics for everybody. They have to come up with something similar, because how are you going to make a 4 millimeter thick phone if you don't have that technology? So I doubt they're going to infringe on patents. Trust me, Apple, when Samsung comes out with theirs, Apple's going to buy one and take it apart and see if they infringed on any patents. I doubt they would do that. They've been sued in the past, and it's just a major issue that they try to stay away from. So apparently Samsung's figured out some way to make it razor thin. Now, if you don't know how thin this is going to be, let's see. This Pixel 9 Pro XL is roughly 8.9 millimeters thick, so roughly 9 millimeters thick. This new phone is going to be less than half. Well, yeah, right about half. So if you take right where the charger is, and you split it down the middle, so it's literally going to be half the thickness. I mean, it'll be the bottom half. You see where the speaker is right here? If you just take the bottom half of that speaker, that's how thin the phone is going to be. I mean, it's going to be insane, right? It's like a modern technological marvel. I'm definitely getting one. Now, what Samsung plans to do is they're going to test the market. So basically, they don't know what the demand is for a razor thin phone. I personally believe the demand is going to be high. However, it depends on where they price it. That's going to be the key, is the price point. Are they going to price it at a regular flagship price of $1,000? Or are they going to overcharge you like they do for the Z Fold 6, right? Or the Z Fold Special Edition. If you don't know, Samsung already came out with a super slim Special Edition for their Fold. Now, that's pretty thin for a foldable. It's only 10 millimeters thick when folded, so when it's opened up, it's basically 5 millimeters thick. Very, very, very thin. It's going to be the same principle as the Z Fold 6 Special Edition, because it was launched roughly 3 months after the original Z Fold 6. Samsung's going to do the same thing with this S25 Special Edition. So Samsung's going to release the S25 series. You're going to get the S25, S25 Plus, and S25 Ultra. 3 months later, you're going to get the S25 Special Edition. Now, depending on how much demand there is and how many they sell of the super slim model, the Special Edition, that's going to determine the S26 model the year later. Because if the demand is super high, Samsung sold out of the Z Fold 6 Special Edition, the super slim one, in 10 minutes. 10 minutes online. So they know they have something there, and the demand for that, it's sold out so fast that Samsung was like, well, maybe we got something on our hands here. Let's do a slim model for the S25 series. Let's do a slim model for the Galaxy S series. And that's what they're doing. If there's very high demand, they're going to continue to implement that. Now, what we don't know is, will it be an individual model itself, kind of like Apple's doing, right? So Apple's going to have the iPhone 17, iPhone 17 Pro, iPhone 17 Pro Max, but they're also going to give you an iPhone 17 Air if you want it to be razor thin. And I think Samsung's going to do the same thing. Now, technically, there's a possibility they could make all of them thin. I don't think that's a good idea. I think you need to have a regular thickness phone, but have an optional razor thin phone. And I think that's what's going to happen. Now, Samsung is also talking about getting rid of the base model. You're going to see a base model, the small 6.3 inch S25. You're going to see the S25 base model. But for the S26 series, it looks like they're going to get rid of the base model. It looks like you're just going to have a Plus and you're just going to have an Ultra. Now, I'm guessing they're going to replace the base model, the small one, with the Special Edition. So I think you'll have basically the small phone form factor is basically going to go away. I believe they're going to do I believe you'll see an S26 Plus, S26 Ultra, and a S26 Special Edition on the same day. So they're releasing it staggered this year for the S25, and that's just to basically test the market. And then if it's a hit, which I believe it is, I cannot wait for it. I get very excited about this. Then you're going to see it launched alongside the regular S26 series. Sorry, I got so many numbers in my head. So anyways, now here's the one thing that you have to worry about when you manufacture these. Is it going to bend easily? Probably. If y'all remember the iPhone 6S, that was the bend gate. That was when Apple made those out of aluminum, and they would bend easy. So how they construct these, you have to think they probably know. Well, definitely they know that. And going into research and development, R&D of this new phone model, that's gonna have play a part, right? So these will probably be premium devices. Well, obviously, so they're probably going to construct them of titanium, which is very strong, very light. Use a full titanium frame, mid-frame, and construct it around that to give it some rigidness, so it's not gonna just snap easy like a piece of foil or something. Because that's stuff you got to worry about. So, and some other changes along the horizon. Samsung is also thinking about dropping the Galaxy name. So they're thinking about a rebranding for the name, and that's probably going to go into play with this new Special Edition model. Now, they're going to keep the Samsung Galaxy S for this S25 series, but all the changes moving forward into the future are going to be with this S26. So how the S25 Special Edition goes into play, how it sells, the demand for it, probably going to be revamped Samsung flagship phones for the S26. So you'll see an S26 Special Edition, S26 Plus, S26 Ultra, but you're going to see a name change. So it might technically not be called the S. I bet they'll keep the S, but I think they're going to drop the Galaxy. Some other rumors that I've heard is that they are going to do it with the Ultra name, right? So instead of the S24 Ultra or S25 Ultra or S26 Ultra, it would be called I think I've heard rumors that they're going back to the Note branding for the Ultra that comes with the pin. So it would be the S26 Note, or what do they call it? What was the old ones called? Samsung Galaxy Note 20. So it'd be the Note 26, and then keep the S26 and S26 Plus, S26 Special Edition, something like that. But just be on the lookout. Just be aware that Samsung is looking to drop the Galaxy, because nobody says Galaxy anymore, and that's why sometimes I wonder, should I even put Galaxy when I title videos? Because nobody says Galaxy anymore. They just say, oh, the new S26, S24 Plus. Nobody uses the Galaxy term anymore, but that's what a lot of people know them by. Oh, you got a Galaxy phone, right? Samsung Galaxy. I mean, my dad, who's 65, he still calls them that. Is that the new Galaxy phone? Yeah, sure is. So they dropped the ball with no pen support. They are like Apple sandbagging their Z line. Check this out. The Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 Special Edition does support S Pen. So they did put in the digitizer under the screen for S Pen support. So you can use an S Pen with the new Jesus Christ. You can use an S Pen with the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 Special Edition. At the very last second, they did implement a digitizer, so they took it out. So that's actually an extra layer that goes under the display. These are getting so thin that they can't even risk putting in a 1/10 of a millimeter strip of digitizer that picks up pen support. But they snuck it in at the very end when designing the Z Fold 6 Special Edition. From what I don't have the phone, but from what I understand, it supports it. So I think that's crucial. I think that's very crucial. Now, cool thing with Samsung is you can actually buy a what do they call it? S Pen Pro for like tablets. All the S Pens, whether you buy it for a tablet or buy it for the S24 Ultra, will work across those devices. So you can use the S Pen from an S24 Ultra on a tablet, or vice versa. You can use the tablet that comes with your tablet, the S Pen with that. You can use it with an S24 Ultra. So they're all interchangeable. Yeah, Samsung with the Z Fold 6 Special Edition, it does support S Pen. So I would expect them to keep that moving forward, because that would be hit us in the gut for our Samsung people. Gotta support it. Gotta support S Pen on something like that. So they did implement it at the very end. So if you want, I actually have, if you go to esimstudios.com, that goes to my news blog. esimstudios.com, that goes to my news blog. I have all the information, all these stores we're talking about. I'm going to link them in the videos in the description. You can go there for all of your tech news, and it's quick. I don't write long articles that have you wasting your time. I do maybe 2 or 3 paragraphs that is just the gist of the story, all the info you need, no fluff, no extras. And I actually put an AI overview of like bullet points of the story, and then if you want to continue and read the gist of the story, I have the story underneath the bullet points. Because I hate reading. I love news. I love reading articles. I grew up listening to news talk radio with my dad. I grew up reading newspapers. I'm old school. I like the news. But I hate reading fluff. And you know why they do it? It's 'cause for Google AdSense, for these websites that get monetized that can put Google ads on them. The stories have to be over 1,000 words to be monetized, or the majority of them. So if your stories for each story is less than 1,000 words, Google AdSense really doesn't want to monetize your website. I said, you know what, screw it. I already have a couple monetized websites, so it's not a big deal, but I just wanted to make something for people that just wanted the news, just wanted the information, and no extra crap. Because when you go to Android Headlines, when you go to Android Authority and you pull up an article, it's just fluff, and they got ads all over the place. You go to esimstudios.com, no ads, just the information. Please check it out. It's very cool. I've put a lot of time into that over the last week or two to make it look presentable. I've always had that, but I put some extra work into that site to get it looking good. So just the news, just the information, nothing else.